young singer named Justin Moore.
We don't do a whole lot of bullshitting up here. We just get up here and play country music.
Hey, check, 1, 2. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's installment of the Justin Moore podcast. Feels like forever since we've talked with you guys, so it's good to be back. This is Season 3, Episode 21. It's Justin and I, the dynamic duo. I'm JR, the handler, and across from me on the Zoom machine today with a different backdrop than we're used to is our brother, everybody's old buddy, Justin Moore. How are you, JM?
I'm good now.
Yeah.
I was telling you before we jumped on here, man, I feel like you. JR's really hot-natured. I'm cold-natured. But I am sweating like a stuck hog right now. We're down at the beach, as you know, but for those out there listening, we're down at our beach house in Florida, and, you know, having to move all this podcast equipment. And I was trying to set it up. We have a balcony on the third story of our house and kind of a cool view, and I thought, well, that'll be kind of a cool backdrop. Took all the stuff, carried all the stuff up 3 flights of stairs, just to find out that the Wi-Fi don't work up there, nor does my hotspot on my phone. So I carried it all back down 3 flights of stairs and got it set up again. And I'm sweating profusely. I'm hot as hell. This is what you get. You get some shutters and a fish.
It's a nice fish.
A lamp.
It's a leg. It's a lamp. Hey, that just means we're back to normal then. If we're having to deal with technical difficulties per usual and a lot of last minute hectic stuff, that frenetic pace we like so much, then we're definitely back to normal.
Yeah, but it is good to be back with you guys. I know JR mentioned it feels like it's been forever. It's only been a week. We only took a week off, but it feels like more.
We've done a lot. We've done a lot more this week in between podcasts than we have in the previous 16 months.
Right. Yeah.
As far as in what we've done in between, so I guess that's why.
Yeah, we got out and played some shows. Went on the road. We'll tell you guys about that a little later. Some awesome shows, actually. Got to play with one of our heroes and talk to him and his wife and one of his daughters, and so yeah, it was a fun run, man, for sure. But glad to have a few days off here at the beach, even though right now I think we're in the middle of a monsoon. I mean, it is just, I don't think I've ever seen it rain this hard down here.
Dude, I told you when I got on the bus this past week, I literally had garden hoses from my backyard to my front ditch trying to siphon water out of my backyard. We have had so much rain down here this year. I mean, we're at capacity. And it's rained. That's why we were late getting started today. I apologize again. But, yeah, I had to get my yard cut because I knew it was going to rain this afternoon. And it was a beautiful day here all day, just perfect.
Yep.
Would have thought about taking the boat out, but I knew I needed to get the grass done, and I did. And now, same thing here. The clouds just got black. It's about to storm. We're about to get another good run, and that's part of why you're warm too, because you know it was warm at some of the shows we did this weekend because it's summertime even in Iowa and Michigan and Ohio where we traveled to. But you get back down here, buddy, it's thick. That humidity sets in. It's not quite as brisk, so it weighs on you a little bit. But
thick is a good way of putting it.
Yeah, so we're about to get it too. But yeah, so you're down in Destin, and I know 4th of July, I stayed at home. I had a good time. I actually got to go, and it rained the whole weekend. I mean, that was the weekend leading up to us leaving on the road. That we had so much rain all weekend. Went and saw our buddy Luke Combs and a bunch of his team that I'm good buddies with. Shout out to Ethan and Jerry and RJ and that bunch. It was good to catch up with all them. But it was storm during his show. It was good to see them. And then by the time I got on the road, it had finally stopped, but my ditches were full. I mean, it just all weekend, the whole weekend. So I didn't go on the boat on the 4th of July. Sharice and I actually looked at the fireworks. There's an angle in my backyard. You can stand and see through the trees and see them from the state pier. So we got to see some fireworks from the house, but even that was in a drizzling rain. But I don't think you over in Destin, it's an hour and a half as the crow flies, but I don't think you guys got it as bad up to that point, because I know you sent me a picture. You and BG went and played golf and stuff.
Yeah, we really didn't get – I mean, it rained kind of like it normally does in Florida. You know, it rained for 30 or 40 minutes, and then it'd be beautiful again.
Yeah. No, it rained here 4 or
know,
5 hours at a time.
Oh no,
Heavy,
we didn't get that, thankfully. But 4th of July, we didn't do much either. You know, we saw some fireworks from our house, but didn't really. I think we actually watched a movie that night with the kids on the couch. So, you know, we did a bunch of the beach time. We went to the beach 3 or 4 days and. You know, did all the other stuff they like to do, the water park and all that kind of stuff, and so they were zonked out by the time 4th of July night got here for fireworks and all that. So, but we had a good time, and like you said, we're still here. But yeah, I got a chance to see BG. He and his family. Ironically, the house that they stay in when they come down here is one of my best friends who owns it.
Yeah,
as you know, which is just crazy. And he didn't know, you know, BG and I, he didn't know he was renting from my buddy and vice versa. I mean, it was just by fluke, but they happened to be here a couple of days after we got here. And so, yeah, we got out and went and played golf. And
can't believe Keith's not down there trying to slip BG Just Saying CD, trying to get out on the road with him.
Oh, I know, right? But I tell you what, Brantley hits the ball about as far as anybody I've ever seen in my life.
Does he?
He just hits it a mile. I mean, I would just flat out stripe one off the tee box, and his would just like wave at mine going by it, you know, like I'm just like, which he's a strong dude.
Oh yeah,
you can tell. But he just hits it so far. It's crazy.
Well, he's got that crazy strength because you know when you see him walk around, he walks around about like Pawpaw, like he can't get around, but he can dunk. He can do a backflip. He can hit a ball 300 something yards. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's unassuming with long pants on and long johns on underneath or blue jeans on underneath.
Yeah,
can do the backflip thing. So. He could strike. Well, how'd y'all play?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was a pretty course. There's a lot of good courses down there.
Yeah, it's a really nice course. We played. I think we played Regatta Bay. I forget which one we played that day. I've played them all, but we played okay. We didn't play great. There was a lot more BS than
catching
good,
up. All
good,
that
good golf being played, and I know he said they're getting ready to get pretty busy like we are. They're ready to get back out there like we are, and kind of looking forward to that. But yeah, it was good to catch up with him and hang. Him and his, I think he said it was his brother-in-law maybe or something like that. But super nice guy.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of that, some little behind the curtain thing here inside baseball. You know, we actually talked. Our bus driver talked with some of his driver guys, some of our crew, and saw his crew at the bus yard before they left, and they were going to North Dakota, and we ended up getting to call you. They had some bus issues on their way up. I don't know if you remember Mark saying that. They had a couple buses go down and have some stuff, but I saw they made their shows, so glad they got on the road. But that's a lot. That's just like us, you know, saying being rusty. I know me and you talked about this weekend. You know, a couple weeks ago, you were like, "Man, I was a little winded out there getting on that thrust." And this past weekend, you were back to normal. And it's kind of like everything's got to get moving again. All these buses sitting for this long. I've had tour manager buddies of mine and band guys I know saying about they're getting their bunk and there's a dirt dauber nest in the plug to plug in your phone, and I mean, just, you know, the hoses are dry. I mean, all this stuff, the equipment in the bus, you know, it's been locked up in warehouses and stuff. All this stuff's meant to be used. So hopefully, as I know we did this past week, everybody's back out rocking. We'll get everything back in play in shape again, and luckily BG and them didn't have too big of problems that they could get around, and they got to make their show. But I know that's, you know, we've talked about some singers, you know, having to take a little time off because coming back and being sick and not being playing shape. And then I know I just saw a buddy Charles Kelly from Lady A. I think he had appendicitis or something. They got to cancel a couple weeks or so. So hoping he gets well. But you know, it's a lot of that's growing pains, and I know the venues, same thing with staffing and different stuff. But man, the crowds have been as hot as I've ever seen them. And everybody's ready to rock. I mean, the band sounds good. All the bands we've played with and ran with the last couple of weeks, and I think like you and BG were talking about, everybody's ready to get back and get cranky. It looks like everybody's about to.
Yeah, no, it looks. I mean, you're exactly right though. There's such a thing as being in shape to do whatever it is you do. I mean, whether it's you're a pro athlete or or you a firefighter or whatever, you're accustomed to doing it. And when you take a year and a half off of any of those things, you're just out of your fighting shape,
Yeah.
like you talking about, you mentioned me being winded, and kind of what he's meaning by that for those of you out there listening is like, obviously to sing, you got to have, breath, obviously. I mean, that's understatement, but, and so there's certain moments during each song where, you can take a breath, in between singing. And I was finding it hard those first couple of shows I was winded,
Yeah.
and it's weird. And this,
Probably a little more adrenaline than normal, pumping, all that.
Probably so. And you can attest to this. Like, I didn't even drink. I mean, so it wasn't nothing like that.
Bare minimum.
I purposely did that because I thought I want to be on, and man, but finally this past weekend was much better. It's like I'm working back into that shape,
Right.
and we played way bigger stages this run than last run, and the reason why I say that is because bigger stages and you're all over the stage, that can make you winded as well, more
Right.
so than a smaller stage. But it sucks when you get up there and you can't take a breath and you need to hold this note out. You're like, it sucks, man.
Well,
Especially when your
and
instrument is your throat.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, like you were saying, you got to remember where those breaks are. I mean, you're remembering the songs and trying to put the emotion in it, and then you got to remember, oh, this is where I took it. It's just like little tricks when you're playing any sport. You got to remember, do this before you do that. But yeah, it was
and
back
it's little
hot.
stuff that, when my whole career, you don't even think about. You just subconsciously do it. But like going back, you're like, whoa. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fortunately we were back to normal this past week. So
yeah, you didn't have to adopt the RGAJ stand here and play my guitar
no
mode of delivery.
I was thinking I might have to go to that. Until I got back in fighting shape. But,
do the George Jones, just prop it up there and just hang on.
Yeah,
good stuff.
We mentioned at the top of the show, we played with one of our heroes, and JR just kind of mentioned, so we'll go ahead and hit that. We played 3 shows this weekend, but probably the most enjoyable for us, simply because we just enjoyed playing with who we played with, was Alan Jackson at a festival that I've played. Man, I don't know.
I think it was your 7th or 8th time.
7th, 8th time, yeah. And it's called Country Concert in Fort Laramie, Ohio, and it is just, what did you say, 30,000 people, 35, something
or
like
more.
that.
Yeah, it was huge.
I mean, it's a 3-day festival. I forget who was there the day before us, but the day after us, I think, was Aldine and somebody.
Yeah, the day before was Party and Luke Combs.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's right. So
because speaking back to injuries, Ashley Mack had to cover for Kojo because he got the strep throat.
Oh, I thought Party did.
Party was already on the bill.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ashley McBride covered for Kojo.
Gotcha. It was
festival.
It was just awesome, and Riley Green was on that show. Lori Morgan was on that show. Dallas Moore, the Bellamy brothers.
I mean, yeah, it was sick.
But just to get to stand and
Hannah
watch Riley's show. I got to catch Riley's show and Alan's show. I know you caught some of the others, but man, and then we had an opportunity. We just had mutual friends and had an opportunity to visit with Alan and his wife for a few minutes, and obviously they couldn't have been kinder. But I mean, Alan Jackson, man, it just hit after hit after hit after hit, and they're all it's just awesome. I mean, it was just a great night it was a really good comeback for us,
Yeah. I don't see you that worked up very much. I mean, not many times ever.
No. I mean, Alan and George Strait and some of those guys get me fired up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you'd have told me when I was 10, 12, 15 years old that I would play right before Alan Jackson and then just get to stand side stage with his wife and watch him play for 2 hours.
Yeah, and they go hang out with him on the bus after.
Yeah, I would have been like, "You're out of your damn mind."
Yeah.
Or whatever. So I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. And I mean, you and I think always appreciate those moments, but I think coming off of what we've just come off of, maybe we appreciated it a little more than we would have otherwise.
Yeah, I definitely I've been around Alan once or twice over the years, but this time got to shake his hand, and like you said, watching side stage, watching him work. I mean, looked like $1,000,000, sounded great, band smoking hot. I mean, just pro. Couldn't have been any better. And then, like you said before, that was Riley, and for me, a guy I've known since he was playing on the beach in front of the Floribama for 20 people. That was a proud moment. And then a legend like Lori Morden, got to meet Jesse Keith, and then got to see Brother Dallas Moore up on the other stage 2 times that day. I mean, just a great comeback all the way around. I would look and see our crew guys talk with some other crew guys and our band guys hanging out with different bunches backstage, and it was really, that's what those big festivals do. It's like little homecomings, every now and then. So and AJ,
really awesome.
And I gotta say, how awesome is AJ's outfit? I just gotta say, y'all know me. I like my dressing now for the show. Gotta have show clothes on, and Alan just nailed it.
It's perfection. I mean, it really is. I sent Kate a picture. You took a picture of he and I together, and I sent it to Kate, and she goes, "There's not one tiny little wrinkle on his pearl snap. Nothing. It's perfect.
His fringe was perfect.
His hat looks perfect. It's the perfect color. Like
his jeans and boots.
His jeans where the rips are, they're perfect. I mean, like, it was just It's like, damn, I wish I was 6'6" and looked like him and had a badass mustache.
I know. He said there's just not many that are in that rare air of always got that look. Like, I would say, like, him and Straight, Tim's always put together pretty good.
Oh, Tim's sharp.
Tim dresses sharp. But, I mean, that's not everybody every time, but I ain't never seen AJ just not look, or Straight. Like, we see him on a video. Flawless. It's just
we were watching a video, you and I, one time, of George Strait. I think it might have been the Dean Dillon thing, which we told you guys to go check out. If you haven't, you need to go watch that after you get done listening and rating and subscribing to this.
To this podcast first. And telling all your friends about this podcast first. Then tell them about Tennessee Whiskey.
Well, Tennessee Whiskey, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But George is sitting there just kind of being interviewed on a bench. And it's maybe the only time I've ever seen him with his shirt untucked. And it was like some hot pink thing or something. And it
Paisley,
looked
hot pink Paisley.
ass. I mean, you're like, how does he do this? How does he pull this off?
Yeah. In the regular cut Wranglers. I mean, just
baggy as hell Wranglers.
Yeah. But AJ, like you were saying, his has got the cut jeans, but it's so perfect for the outfit. But they're
like fancy still.
Yeah,
even though they're ripped up.
And the color of those are a color. I don't ever seen a way wearing like a light gray blue jean or whatever it is, like a stonewashed with the boots and the fringe.
Yeah, they're like stonewashed.
Yeah, and it just works. But anyway, they couldn't have. He and Miss Denise and Maddie and Jack and that whole bunch, man. Yeah. That was very awesome to get to spend a little time with them and watch them work. And I mean, by the end of the show, with the crowd getting on the thrust and doing the what's the song?
Was it Good Time?
Good Time. Oh, yeah, Good Time. Oh, yeah.
And I didn't even tell you this, but I'm standing there going, let some MFer run up towards him and try to do something stupid. I was getting ready to run out there and crow hop somebody before they got to him.
Don't you touch this national treasure.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's good stuff. But, yeah, it was that was good. And then, the other 2 shows. First night, we went out and played a fair. In Independence, Iowa, had a great time. Big crowd there. Got to meet. Yep, I met Troy Cartwright, sport act on that. He was a nice young man on Warner Brothers Music. He's got some good stuff going on. He was really nice, young guy from Dallas. And then country concert. I mean, like I said, that's one of the top 3, 4, 5 concerts for me, what I like, that, as far as their lineups every year, that's as good as it gets. Because it's country. It's real country.
To me, it's a top 5.
Got to be.
Easily top 5. And we've done it, like I said, we've done it about every other year, if not more. So...
shout out to Variety Attractions, always making sure we stay. And the family that owns that farm. I mean, what a cool thing you guys do. And then Saturday night, we went up to Bay City, Michigan. Real cool little amphitheater shell there in the downtown on the river there. Another big crowd.
It was almost like the Waikiki shell or something.
It kind of was.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, it was in their big city park. It was cool, man. I had a great time. Good crowd.
I played golf that day. Really nice golf course with a super cool guy.
Chris.
Chris, and we're gonna have him on the podcast. He and his brother have a really cool couple of shows on the Outdoor Channel. One of them is dropped.
Yep.
Where they drop him and his brother off just in the middle of nowhere, basically. And they just I think they have a bow and maybe some fire starter, and that's it. And they got to stay for like 40 days.
Yeah, Chris Kiefer is his name.
And so so that's dropped, and that's on, I believe, Thursday nights on the Outdoor Channel. And then they have another show called Humanimal, which is more of a whitetail hunting show, but we're going to get him on the podcast. He's also got a podcast, but we'll talk to him about that when we have him on. But you played golf with him at a really cool course, and it was a good day for sure. Yeah,
no doubt. So great run, and we're going to talk more later in the show about the shows we have coming up, where we're going to be over the next month or so. Later on in the show. I forgot where I was going with that, but let's talk about guests. So anyway, we'll talk about what we've got coming up here the next month or so later in the show. But want to give a shout out real quick to our past few guests, Mr. William Lee Golden, behind the beard. Thank him for spending some time with us today. That was. I'm still tickled about that. I've told everybody I've talked to since, said, hey, I got to talk to William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys. They look at me like, the beard. He's like, oh. I was like, yeah. Anyway, very, very cool talk with him. And then Carly Pierce. I apologize again, Miss Carly, that I messed up your Zoom audio. But we'll have you back on again. And because now you just literally the day after you were on the podcast, you got inducted as a member of the Grand Ole Opry. So we got to have you back on to talk about that. And I promise this time I won't mess up the Zoom machine. I'll get it started on time.
Did we not get any of her audio?
No, we got it, but I missed the first 5 minutes or so.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
I didn't push record in time. I forgot she wasn't recording her own audio. And then want to give a shout out. We've got some cool guests coming up over the next few weeks. I'm not sure on what timeline. We'll give you a little better nod on that when it happens. And some of this stuff, guys, I would say this. I'm going to get with Cody and see about every week when we're going to have the podcast, we'll let you know a day before it comes out what day it's going to come out. So we'll give you a heads up. And if we're not going to have a podcast on a Thursday, we'll give you the heads up the day before, hey, there'll be no podcast this week. So you guys all make sure to go to the Justin Moore Podcast Instagram page and sign up for that. That way you can get those notes when we know for sure when these are going to come out. Because with our travel schedule, it's just going to be iffy when we can get them in the can and get them to Cody and get them out. So
but we'll definitely have one every week, unless we have to take a week off.
That's what I'm saying. If we're gonna take a week off, we'll let you know, and if we're gonna be late, we will give you a heads up on that as well. Because I know we've got I think at least 3-4 time PPR bull riding champion Jess Lockwood going to come on the show with us. NFL quarterback Carson Wentz is going to come on the podcast with us here the next month. So we got a bunch of cool stuff come up. And then we've talked to a few of our friends out on the road that are all down to jump on. And we're hoping to put together a rig for the road. So when we do these shows, we can actually do some while we're
and
at
I
the
ain't
shows.
having to climb up and down stairs setting it up every time. It's just already there.
Right.
So I don't have to take all this crap and redo it every time.
Yeah. Or pack all the stuff up in one of my backpacks that weighs 700 pounds and try to drag it through an airport.
That's what I've been having to do.
Yeah. So anyway, so we'll talk more about that. We're going to take a little quick break for station identification and a shout out to all our fabulous sponsors and supporters of this podcast. So y'all hang in there with us and we'll be right back. But like Justin mentioned earlier, everybody please go rate, like, subscribe, hit the notification buttons, give us that 5-star review, leave us a little short note on there. We sure appreciate y'all. That's what keeps it going. And we'll be back here momentarily on the Justin Moore Podcast.
I got to go turn this air up. Now I'm freezing.
Get your parka, your blankie.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm so excited to announce an awesome opportunity with one of our sponsors, Bobcat Company. Today we're announcing the Straight Out of the Country giveaway where you can enter to win one of 3 pieces of Bobcat equipment. They're giving away a Bobcat compact tractor, a Bobcat zero-turn mower, and a Bobcat utility vehicle. The utility vehicle, also known as a UTV, is one that I've been using on my tour, and I can tell you it's a great machine and one you would be so lucky to take home. To learn more about the giveaway and to submit your entry, go to bobcat.com/country. Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Moore here. I want to remind everyone out there listening that my wife, Kate, has an awesome children's clothing boutique in downtown Benton, Arkansas at Central Arkansas. So if you're local, come see us at 119 West South Street in downtown historic Benton, Arkansas. Again, that's 119 West South Street in Benton, Arkansas. And if you're not local, we ship everywhere. So you can find us at shopthislittlepiggy.com and see all that we have to offer, all that my wife Kate has to offer, I should say. Facebook, you can find us at shopthislittlepiggyAR. And Instagram, you can find us at shopthislittlepiggyAR. But check us out. It's called This Little Piggy. And see what we got to offer. ShopThisLittlePiggy.com.
Hi, y'all. This is Brandon Bing, singer-songwriter and whiskey maker. You're tuning into the Justin Moore Podcast. Visit EasyLiquor.com to grab your bottle of Bangtail Whiskey and join the Blue Collar Swaller family today. Follow us on all socials at Bangtail Whiskey for more news and updates. Now pour a jigger and take this a second ride with us.
All right, welcome everybody back here to the Justin Moore Podcast. Thanks to all our sponsors we just mentioned. Hey, I was going to say too, Just, our buddy Big Hoss sent me a new bottle of Bangtail whiskey, so I'm just cracked the top on this. So y'all make sure to go to their website and get you one too. Get you one of them blue collar swallers there because I'm about to.
Why is it already empty? Oh, it's not.
It's got some in it. It's just a little, I just had a little sip out the top. Well, the last one was. He had to send me a refill on that. And I want to say too, yeah, if any of you guys out there know of anybody or work for a company that'd like to advertise or be a sponsor of the Justin Moore Podcast, shoot me a message on the jrthehandler.com chat zone there, or on Instagram or Twitter at jrthehandler. Don't do MySpace or Facebook or MySpace or any of that for the podcast. So if you want to hit me on that stuff, I don't do Snapchat or TikTok or none of that. So it's Instagram or
JR's
Twitter.
Big on TikTok now.
Yeah, huge.
Big time TikToker.
Big time. Me and Ross Brown, we're a duo. Yeah.
I'm kidding. Don't look for him on TikTok because you ain't going to find him.
Hey, but I tell you who you can go find. If you want to see somebody that would be in the spirit of me, go see my buddy Uncle Dale Mills. Dale is on there on TikTok all the time. He and his kids.
We've been talking about him. We got to get him on.
Oh yeah.
He's a trip now.
Oh yeah. He sent me a picture wearing a Handler shirt from at the river this weekend.
Yeah.
But he's on TikTok. So go see Uncle Dale on TikTok. But come see me, JR the Handler, and at Justin Cole Moore on Instagram and Twitter. Because that's where you can find us, and that's where you can send me messages. Like I said, hit me up if you know somebody wants to be an advertiser or sponsor on here. We've got a little room for a few more. And want to say thanks to one of the sponsors from our shows this weekend, Sky Mint in Bay City, Michigan. Appreciate the gift basket there. Very cool to meet you guys.
Is that your gift basket?
Yeah, that was the JR gift basket, and they were very cool. I talked to Amy backstage. She said she was going to listen to the podcast. They may be potential sponsors as well. So, hope you enjoy the episode, Amy. Hope everybody out there in podcast land enjoys this episode, along with all of the past, 50-something episodes we've done. I hadn't really kept count. We're on episode 21 of this season, so.
Golly, you got to tell people what was in that gift bag because that's a new one for. That's the first time. So sometimes when we go play these shows, they'll give us gift bags, swag bags, whatever.
Right, swag packs.
This was a first.
This was special.
And this ain't up my alley, but
Right. Well, so we're in Michigan, and Michigan is legalized recreational and medicinal cannabis in the state of Michigan, and they are one of the sponsors of this concert. They asked did JM want anything from their fine establishment, and I said, well, it's not really his speed, but I'm sure, me and a few of the gang might not, we might see what it's all about, we don't really have that down here, so we'll check it out. So they let us check it out. It's very cool. I enjoyed it. It was a beautiful day in Michigan. Drank about 2 beers less than I normally would have, but it was a good day. I had just as good a time, no doubt. No doubt.
There you go.
So yeah, that definitely a first on that. So come on, let's just get this thing passed federally, and we'll all be a lot happier. I promise you, or at least I will. So anyway, and also I want to go back on this. We were talking about social media. Also, if it doesn't have a blue check mark by Justin's name, it ain't him. And I promise you, he don't even have him on his phone. So he's not going to be reaching out to you, trying to get you to talk to him on some side chat or nothing, nor will I. You'll know it's me. Y'all know how I talk. You'll know it's me. I'm not asking nobody for nothing. I love chit-chat with you guys and gals on there, but I don't have a side one either. I've even seen people sending me fake me's trying to hit people up. I'm like, good Lord. Yeah. So if it's not my JR the Handler, y'all know it's me. No special numbers or characters. It's not Justin with a blue check mark. It's not us. Don't check it. And I heard this, and they'll remember this, and this is kind of some inside stuff that I know we have some industry-type folks and other TMs and artists and friends of ours that listen to this podcast some, or at least they tell me they do, and I hope they really do. Shout out, Ethan. You better be listening. Anyway, I know a while back we got it. You sent me a text. All right. I hope I can explain this well enough for everybody to grasp where I'm going, what I'm saying. So every now and then we get hit up by people who'll say, "Hey, this is so and so with so and so. We want to get together at a show, or we see y'all are going to be in town. Do y'all want to come to this? We're going to send some people to the show." So it's other like athletes, celebrities, singers, people, coaches, just different people that are in the same stuff that we do, and we're in the same cities and stuff. So it's not uncommon at all for if we meet somebody that like, and they'll say while we're talking to them that they like somebody else, and we'll put them in touch with them, and other people put me and Justin in touch with people that they meet along the way that mutually they think we would all jive and it would be cool to know each other. So a while back we got one that claimed to be, and if this all comes to where it's total legit true, I'll eat it, but. Got somebody claim to be, Justin texts me all excited, or call me or text me all excited, says, "Man, you won't believe who I just got a text from." I was like, "Who's that?" And said,
everybody knows JR is an Alabama guy.
Right.
So that's why I immediately texted JR. Not that I
Yes.
wouldn't have anyway, but
right.
It was even more special because I thought, man, JR is going to be stoked about this.
Yeah, JR's going to lose his mind when he hears this.
Right.
So he calls or texts me this, and he says, "You won't believe who's calling. It's Latrell Sprewell." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Why are you not excited?" And I was like, "That's just funny because a while back I had talked to another buddy of mine, Jackson, shout out Jackson from Kojo, had said he had got a hit up from something like that, from a Latrell Sprewell somebody. And Jackson and I, back on a tour we did together when Cody was out with us a couple years ago, when we first got to be big buds with all those guys, we had some scammers try to get us on a few of those shows, and Jackson and I had to go do some deals and get all that shut down, and found out a whole bunch of stuff about people scamming people for tickets, claiming that they were with these organizations that had underprivileged children and these different things. That it was a huge scam, and we got those, and so we always been on the lookout, and we included our buddy Wally from Jamie's camp too to help us with all this, and we all run into the same kind of problems. It seems like, especially the us three, it seemed like, and then other tour managers I talked to, it seems to be more as common as well. So I didn't get too excited, and Justin's like, why do you not think it's Latrell Sprewell? And I'm like, it's just funny because I just talked to somebody the other day saying they were reaching out, but it sounded fishy. And he wouldn't get them. He wouldn't ever call them. He would just go by text. So I play along with this. So I tell Justin, give him my number.
I think I gave him. Well, no, I gave whomever it was.
Yeah, my number.
Your number, because I totally just fell for it.
Yeah, right.
And then I felt bad. I felt guilty because I gave your number, but I was like, man, JR would kill me if I didn't give Latrell Sprewell his number. Like,
and this came his number. The connection between you and him came through another friend of ours. That's a credible source. So our friend ahead of us, Colt, had already gotten duped. So, if this all comes true, I'm telling y'all, but it's not, because I got more. This is where I'm going with this whole story.
And the other thing, I keep interrupting you, but the other thing is, like, it would totally be believable that Colt Ford was buddies with Latrell Sprewell, because Colt knows more famous people than anybody I've ever met.
Anybody in the business.
He knows everybody in every business. Like, he just, and everybody loves him. And
Truth.
So that's why I believed it. Plausible. Otherwise I wouldn't have.
And I would have as well had I not had this prior info from Jackson that made me just question it. As soon as I heard it, it was like, really? So, yeah, totally. And that's what I'm going with all this, how widespread and how crazy this stuff can be. So I don't believe it, this and that. I start texting with this guy. And I knew it's funny the way he's even texting, because I watched Latrell Sprewell's whole career. I don't foresee him being this big. I'm sure he might not hate it, but I've never seen him being like a country with other country guys or with other people. I've never seen him in any pictures, because any of us country guys from Alabama or any in the South would have hung out with Latrell Sprewell. Somebody would have had a picture of it up.
So Spree played at Alabama, for those out there who don't know. He played basketball at Alabama, and then he had a great pro career.
Huge NBA career.
So you would totally believe it if it was Robert Horry, because he's a country guy.
Yes. Well, and then
Spree,
not even that.
So much.
Just knowing that you would have seen him in like hanging out with like I would have seen a picture of him and Colt together already.
Right.
And then I asked Colt, Colt had never actually hung out with him. He just got a call and text as well through another mutual friend. Right. So that was another flag. So I'm texting this guy, and then I realized his text don't even make sense. I mean, it makes sense, but he's saying stuff like, "Hey, this is former Alabama legend Latrell Sprewell," and I'm like, and he's like, "Why won't you text me back? This is the Alabama great Latrell Sprewell," and I'm just like, why would Latrell Sprewell be fishing at me so hard? And this is during the pandemic too, mind you,
right,
about coming to shows that we don't even know are ever going to exist again. So we had this whole fishy thing. It's kind of died off. We ain't talked about it in a long time.
No.
So I knew it was fishy. I never followed up with the guy. I never gave him Justin's number, none of that kind of stuff. So fast forward to this past weekend, I'm driving home from Destin, and I'm listening to the Big Shot Bob podcast. Speaking of Robert Horry, 7-time NBA champion from the University of Alabama, Robert Horry, Big Shot Bob. I'm listening to his podcast. He brings this topic up, that there are people saying that Spree's trying to reach you. And Robert Horry's like, Spree's got my number. I got his number. Why are you saying people are trying to reach? And then so all the people on the show knew about it and were talking about it because other people had said that. So apparently whoever this fake Latrell Sprewell is out there is all over the place trying to get celebrities and entertainers and athletes' numbers for whatever reason.
This was in September of last year. I'm just looking it up because I haven't saved his Latrell Sprewell on my phone.
Yeah. And Latrell, if this is you, hit me up. Just normal size.
Would definitely want to trade autographs with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's just
hit me. Last I heard from him was September 25th.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Spree is like, you know, I'm just like, I just don't sound like Spree. I mean, he was an assassin out there. He was a badass. I mean, he just don't seem like.
Yeah.
It just don't seem like his demeanor. Hey, buddy, let's trade autographs. It just don't seem like Spree. He might have been like, hey, I'm a fan. We see you coming
me.
in my
I'm not trading autographs with nobody.
Yeah, right. Either. Who would even say that? Who would say that?
No, nobody.
So I thought the whole thing was fishy out the hole, and apparently it's went on the next level because it made Bob's podcast too. So I want to we're doing social media and fake scammer awareness show out of this, or week as Bob did too. So, I don't know who this guy is or gal
basically,
or person, but
we're gonna call y'all on your bullshit.
Yeah, and I want to know. I want to know from my friends that are in the business, have they heard of this? How many of you guys or gals in the biz have gotten hit up by somebody claiming to be Latrell Sprewell? And in fact, have you ever met them or verified that this is actually him? Said one NBA legend, Alabama Crimson Tide legend, Latrell Sprewell. He works for the Knicks. He still lives in Minneapolis and stuff. I'm like, I just don't. And then he was hitting me up for tickets in the middle of a pandemic. We don't even know if we're doing – there's no shows on the books. Anyway, so just wanted to bring that up, tying that into social media, crazy people out there. I watched a couple of these shows on National Geographic about scammers over in these other countries and how they do these. They just get people who are bored and lonely and con them. So don't let them con you.
And if we can fall for it, you guys can fall for it. Because
I
totally fell for it.
Yeah.
JR pissed on my parade. I thought, man, I'm doing this really cool thing for JR, and he just pissed all over it. I thought, damn,
Latrell,
man.
And Sprewell's probably going to beat the shit out of me next time he sees me because he's going to be like, that was me, man. What the hell? He's like, damn, you ruined my whole game. I'm like, if so, brother, I promise you, Latrell Sprewell, you hit me up. You got a lamb, and you come to any show you want to. I promise you, no problem. So,
No doubt.
But anyway, so just y'all be aware out there of scammers. They're on all levels of all shapes, forms, fashions, countries, and God knows what else. So be on your P's and Q's and don't fall for it. But I tell you what, you can fall for. You can fall for the old gimmick of using that hashtag Justin Moore Podcast when you leave us some questions and comments on any of our social pages or jrthehandler.com chat thing there, because I do see those, and I've got a few I want to run through if that's okay with you, Just. I know we got to get back to doing stuff, but see, one here was pretty cool. These are from a couple weeks ago. I didn't finish up. This is Kevin Neal. Love the podcast you and Justin do. It makes the day go by fast as I'm maintaining 44 acres as a groundskeeper at a high school. Y'all are always good for making me laugh. Thank you so much. Most importantly, I can't effing wait for Dewey Beach, Delaware in July. We have tickets for the July 15th show. We just gave birth to our first daughter, Ansley, back in December. So this July will be our first family to the greatest little beach town in America. So thanks again, Kevin from Newark, Delaware. See you in July.
We'll see you soon. I guess when this podcast comes out,
that's the day.
We'll be there.
That's the day of the show he's talking about.
Yeah.
So this should air the day that comes out. So we'll see you there, Kevin from Newark. Congrats on your daughter, Ansley. Very cool.
Yeah, congrats.
I got a hit up here on the Handler website. It says, JR, does streaming songs count on media-based charts each week?
No.
So.
Media base is only radio airplay.
That's right.
So it's just literally just terrestrial radio.
Yep.
Doesn't even include satellite radio.
You know, and back in the day, it used to be they just went and got somebody at the record shop to tell them what numbers were selling and stuff. So they could have told them whatever they wanted to tell them.
Right.
You know, so crazy. But that's a good question, though, for sure. Yeah. And I'm sure the evolution of music and the way to keep up with that kind of stuff is going to be changing as we all grow into this new world we're living in. Technology. JR, my son and I were in Evansville, Indiana show Friday night, and when Justin sang the national anthem, it was the greatest. We had a ball. Best Father's Day present ever. What do you get? You just feel it every now and then on one of those when you just want to do something like that? Yeah, I know you've done God Bless America. You've done a few of those.
Usually when I do something like that, whether it's the anthem or God Bless America, it's usually, I don't know why this takes place at our shows, but it kind of always has, and I think it's awesome. But you've seen it at random moments during our show, and it's happened throughout my whole career. People just chant USA, USA. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's because of small town USA or I don't know. But sometimes it just kind of prompts me to do the anthem or God Bless America, or I don't know.
Just kind of because you never. I don't know you're going to do it.
Strikes a nerve. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I never.
I don't know I'm going to do it.
Right. So there you go, crowd. That's how you get one of those moments. Y'all bring the energy. You get a little bit back. Deer 3, lightning strike sign, Blake's dad, 924. JR, you should try to get Bobby Portis on the pod, current Buck and former Razorback. I heard Justin talk about him, how he's rooting for him. Diehard Bucks fan, that would be amazing. We were talking about that before the show came on. They're down 2-1 to the Suns as we record this, but Bobby's played big minutes and points. I mean, yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah, he's had a really good postseason. There was one we talked about it a few weeks ago. One of their series, he didn't play much, but it was a matchup thing. Yeah. But outside of that one series, he's had a really good postseason. He's had a really good season. I think I think I told you he's shooting like 40% from behind the arc for the year, and he's 6'11". I mean, can you imagine? But yeah, he's a legend as a former Razorback. I mean,
I remember you telling me when he was there in school that he was going to be a good NBA. You said, "Watch this guy; he'll be a good NBA player."
Yeah, he grew up in Little Rock, just underdog. Matter of fact, he has a brand called Underdog that I think, I don't know if they sell merch or what, but just he's one of the most beloved Razorbacks of all time just because of his story. He was a really good player. He was SEC Player of the Year for us as a sophomore. He played on a really, really good team at Arkansas. I think they won 27 games his sophomore year, and they got beat in the second round by North Carolina the year they won it all. And we were ahead the whole game, and point being, he's a great ambassador for the state, and I would love to get him on.
Yeah, we'll let him get through with what he's got to do.
Yeah, he's got more important things going on right now. But yeah, I'm certainly pulling for him, and I got to be honest, I'm gonna be happy no matter who wins. I would love to see him get a ring as a Razorback, but I just love small market teams making it, man. Milwaukee, Phoenix. And, I mean, I'm not a huge Suns fan per se, but it would be really cool to see Chris Paul get a ring too, because he's been so good for so long. And, man, Game 1 is the only game I've watched the whole game. I watched part of Game 2. But he was just unreal that game, and he's 36.
Yeah,
he's basically he's a year younger than me, and he's just chewing up dudes and spitting them out in the NBA Finals. I mean, it's crazy. And Bobby, nobody could guard him that night, but Bobby was getting swapped off on him a few times, and Chris Paul's like what 6'1",
6'1", yeah.
And Bobby's 6'11", and Chris Paul's like step back threes over the 6'11". It just craziness.
Yeah, he's been so good.
But that's less to do with Bobby and more to do with just how great Chris Paul is my point. But yeah, I would love to see Bobby get a ring, but I just have enjoyed these playoffs because I was not. I know the networks were hoping to see.
Nets Lakers,
Nets Clippers, or Nets Lakers. Right. I was hoping to see the Suns and the Bucks, so I've enjoyed it because of that.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and it's just good matchups. These are good games. I mean, this is good, and they're back. Everybody's back healthy for the most part. I don't know how, Giannis.
And this reminds me too. This conversation. This is when Maddie turns this podcast off.
Right. Well, or we talk about sports. I know. Sorry, Maddie. We'll get back to music.
Yeah. She goes, when y'all talk NBA, I have to turn it off, and then or fast forward it or whatever.
Yeah. When y'all talk about sports, I'm out. Well, that's what I got on that one. Got a long one here from the Marty party, who I got to meet, and I don't even want to. Marty, you gave me this huge one, which is awesome. But I did get to meet Marty. Chad P. Martin. He's Thank You Thunderhead. I met him watching when I went to see Dallas Moore play the other night. I actually got to meet him. But he said, what is this one here? This is a classic one, which you and I talk about all the time, and mine ever changes. But he said, Justin, what was your favorite food your mom or granny would make when you were young? I know for me, go ahead.
I'd say my favorite thing that my grandma cooked was I'll go a couple different directions. Her pork roast. I know that's random, but she made a really good pork roast. And pork roast is not something that a lot of people make too often. Usually they do beef.
Right.
But if I had to pick one thing, her gravy. Like I can cook and I can make gravy, but I still can't get it right like her. And the thing is, she couldn't explain it to me. She'd go, well, just do this blue cup of this. And I'm like, I don't have that blue cup. Like, I don't know how many ounces is that blue cup. She's like, just a little bit of that. And I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Gran was the same way. My
mom does the best fried squash I've ever had. That's probably my favorite thing she makes. But go ahead. What was yours?
That's a tough one. I was just gonna say, it made me think of it because I've had it at a few.
And
places
my grandma's fried potatoes. That was the
fried
other
potatoes.
thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I've had it a few places lately, but it was good. What as good as Gran's is chicken and dumplings. Gran used to roll out the dumplings, make the whole thing, and her cornbread. Gran's cornbread too, but
I will say
Mom cooked a bunch of stuff, but Gran's cornbread and Mom will tell you that chicken and dumplings, that cornbread, buddy. Woo!
Oh yeah, mom can't keep up with my grandma, and she'll tell you that. I mean, like your mom, I'm sure. But I tell you what, my wife makes the best cornbread I've ever had. It sits in about that much bacon grease, which is what makes it good. But yeah, she makes the best cornbread, and she's got pretty damn good at dumplings too.
Yeah, well there you go.
And she makes her own. She does the whole homemade thing like Gran does.
Right. Wow.
I mean, I'm sure they ain't Grans, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey man,
Hey, for a 38-year-old, she does
right.
pretty good.
Absolutely. Well, Reese, I got home last night to a nice talking about a roast. We had a nice roast with carrots in it and gravy and rice. It was pretty on point. As far as wife stuff, Reese makes a mean roast. I give her, and the cabbage. She does this cabbage. Which they call it cabbage, but it's got about as much meat in it as it does cabbage. But
right.
But it's good.
Okay, this is something we should ask our listeners, and they can use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast to answer us. Kate and I disagree on what to have with roast. Obviously, you have carrots because you put it in with the gravy or whatever. Mm-hmm. They do rice.
Right. I grew up with potatoes.
We did mashed potatoes.
Same here.
And if Kate, if she goes, all right, we don't have to do rice, we can do potatoes, she wants like new potatoes in there.
Yeah.
Like just cut up quartered potatoes. And I'm like, no, you got to have mashed potatoes. So you put the gravy on it, and it's just a whole different thing. But they do rice with everything, as you know.
That's a Louisiana thing.
And I'm like, I don't want roast with rice. I want I want potatoes, like mashed potatoes.
Yeah. What does everybody else eat? Do y'all eat mashed potatoes or roast or rice? I bet potatoes has got to be the number one.
Got to be.
I mean, I don't think anybody outside of South Louisiana eats rice with it. With everything.
I don't either.
Except for me now, because that's what I get.
You don't get an option, buddy. Ruff.
We don't eat mashed potatoes at home ever anyway, just never did really, but
do it,
and I'm not against it, but I mean that is like when we're catering or we're off somewhere. Oh, I enjoy my mashed potatoes with my roast because that is what I grew up. We never had rice.
That's
one time.
Quintessential.
And we also never had rice underneath our peas and corn and
no, that's another thing.
Everything.
Yeah, like you and I grew up eating beans and like pinto beans, white beans, purple hull peas, black-eyed peas, any kind of what do they call it, legume?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it's a legume or legume. I don't know. Whatever. Y'all
can see it, but I can't.
Y'all can make fun of me out there for not knowing that, but any bean or pea, they ain't eating it just plain. We always ate it just on the side, plain.
Yeah. No,
they got it. They have to eat it over rice, and I'm like,
and smother
why?
it, and want to smother it, and want to make something in it too. Got to put something else in it too. Got to put some meat and some a roux or something. So yeah, how many people out? What do you in America and podcast world? Because we do have a bunch of listeners. I saw we're in some other countries getting rated lately. New Zealand, thank y'all. Nigeria, I saw.
Really?
Yeah, I saw those on this. Let me see this email before I left here. No, Barbados. Excuse me.
I wish I was in Barbados right now.
Yeah,
we went there on our honeymoon.
But we have been a while back. We were in some other countries I remember seeing. But yeah, New Zealand, Barbados, the States. But yeah, let us know what you eat with your roast. We just want to know, what does everybody else eat with their roast? Because
rice or potatoes, and if it's potatoes, is it
mashed
quartered up potatoes or mashed potatoes?
Right. All right, I got another one here. And I missed this last week. Happy birthday. We were talking about him earlier. Happy birthday to Uncle Dale. Y'all check him out on TikTok. JR, you keep teasing about having Carly Pierce on the pod. I cannot wait. She is my favorite. Her voice is amazing. Give your boy Blake's dad 924 a shout in the episode. Tell her I'm a huge fan. Well, Yep, she was already on here, but if she listens to this, she will hear it. So, yeah, and she is. She's awesome. She was a great guest, too. This is from Debbie Blanchard. Till My Last Day 66. Can't wait to the June 17th episode. It's my birthday, and the best present will be a shout-out from Justin Moore. I've been following him since day one and continue to support his amazing music. Absolutely love him and his music. So, sorry we missed you on that a couple weeks ago, Debbie, but happy belated birthday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday, Debbie, and thank you very much for the support. We very much appreciate it.
Next one I got here is from Ashley Baker. Jamming out hardcore this morning to Hell on a Highway, On the Rocks, running out of honky tonks. Wish they had been singles. How are these not singles to blow up the charts? More real country music, please. Hashtag favorites. Thank you, Ashley. This is for buddy Jared W. Hayes. Asked JM and JR, what do y'all think about Major League Baseball's new pitchy, sticky substance search policy? Players getting checked 1 to 4 times a game.
I think it's asinine, personally. I mean, it's been happening forever. I mean, look, I'm all about like cleaning the game up as much as possible, but having dudes pull their pants down and checking them for sticky substances it's ridiculous to me. I mean, it's ridiculous. Have you seen these videos?
No.
So dudes are literally pulling their pants down and they're making sure that they don't have like some kind of pine tar or something under their belt, because you'll see pitchers all the time. And they'll like in between every pitch, they'll either like retuck their shirt in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, it's part of the game in a way. And I'm not saying it should be, but it is.
It's like in the movie Major Leagues. Like, what's that shit on your arm, Harris? Bartol, Vagisil, any one of the guys 2 to 3 inches on your curveball. I ain't got an arm like you, kid.
That's the other thing. I mean, even like a pitcher gets a ball before the game, and they dig their cleats into it,
right?
To raise the seams up. But the ball's been juiced so much.
That's what I'm saying. They're still hitting it out of the park. I mean, everybody's batting average is still the same. What the hell?
The pitchers are looking to combat that. I mean, and the thing is, the batting averages are actually way down. But people right now, it used to be when you got 2 strikes on you, you shorten up, try to put the ball in play. Now nobody does that. They just try to hit it out of the park every time they come up. So their averages are way down. Home runs are way up. People are trying to walk, and then teams are trying to walk a lot, hit home runs. Walk, 3-run homer. Walk, 3-run homer.
Wow. Yes, I hadn't kept up enough lately to realize all that. Wow. So yeah, that is ridiculous. I mean, stopping the game while it's happening to get checked
they
like
can
that?
say, "All right, I got to check you." I mean, it's silly.
Yeah, mess your whole
to me. I'd be curious to know what he thinks, because I think it's crazy.
Yeah, let us know what y'all think about it, guys. Next one I got here is Angie Carter. Great show last night at the pageant. Justin, your voice was better than ever. She's referring to our show in St. Louis a few weeks ago.
Thank you. That was when I was probably winded.
Yep, I think that was the one.
So it was probably terrible, but thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Next one's Indy Gibbs. I don't know about the rest of the Justin Moore Podcast Nation, but we need some more Kate and Justin episodes. Waking Up Justin episode is a classic. Make it happen, JR. So we need to do that. I was meant to talk to you about that at some point. Hopefully, I was hoping we can do it while you guys are down, but me and you and Sharice and Kate all get on and catch up. You know, what's it like us getting back out on the road, and how they feel about it and that kind of stuff. Thought that might be fun. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we'll do that one evening here when we're all chilling when we're not on the road.
We can do that maybe before we leave the beach. That'd be good.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, just hang out, have some wine, catch up. Next one we got here is old buddy Kevin Martin. Hey, JR and JM, for this or that segment, mine is, out of these 3, who would you write a song with, perform a song with live, or sing a duet with? The 3 choices are Kenny Chesney, George Strait, or Conway Twitty. So who would you rather write a song with, perform a song with live, or sing a duet with, between Chesney, Strait, and Conway?
Probably write a song with Chesney, because George and Conway, neither one really wrote.
Yep.
And then record a duet and sing one live.
Yep.
Probably record one with Conway and sing one live with George.
That's what I was going to say. You could do an Ode to Arkansas thing with Conway, and whatever you record with George is going to be recorded anyway, or do live with George is going to be recorded anyway.
Yep.
It'll make its way. Old buddy Kyle Lawler here is, can you take us through the process of writing a song and pitching it to another artist? Well, that's going to be a long one there. I'm going to save that one, Kyle.
I don't really do that. I've never pitched a song to another artist. I've had them cut, but just because they kind of accidentally heard them.
Right. Got you.
So,
Yeah, well, I'll finish it up then. That's what he's basically asking, and you said you don't know because you don't do this, but maybe some other artists can chime in on this. Example, Brantley writing Dirt Road Anthem, Aldine getting to cut it. Do the writers have artists in mind while they're writing? You're always writing stuff you want to do, right?
Yeah, I think in Brantley's case, it would be like me. I mean, he probably was writing it for himself, and then to be quite honest with you, when Aldine cut that, Brantley was a big artist in Georgia, but I don't think he was nationally signed at that point. I think he was just kind of an underground. I think. I mean, I could be misspeaking here, but I don't think he was signed to a record deal at that point. So he was probably thinking, "Shit, that's
that'll help.
That's a nice paycheck."
Yeah,
if Aldine cuts it,
and a check mark on your writing credentials and everything else.
And I'm not speaking for him. That's what I would have thought. Is hell yeah, Aldine wants to cut it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, well, if Straight wanted to cut one of yours, you'd be like,
yeah,
knock yourself out.
Especially if I hadn't had success on the radio and stuff. That's what I mean. Like, I don't think Brantley was on the radio as an artist and stuff yet. So I think he was probably thinking, shoot.
Yeah,
that's my guess. I mean,
yeah. And then in turn that helped him because once he had something on the radio on his own when he went and did his shows. Because I remember seeing him early on, he would do those songs and people like, oh shit, that's right, he wrote that. So you can do that song if you write it. Just like when we did some shows with David Lee Murphy 2 years ago, which I know a lot of Dave's stuff, but I didn't realize how much stuff that he didn't cut that he had wrote till I saw his whole live set.
Big Green Tractor. Speaking of Aldine,
and a couple of other ones that were even newer stuff I didn't even realize that was DLM. So, yeah. Well, there you go on that, Kyle. On Instagram, I got here Matt. Hey, Jay, I want to give you a shout out. Really enjoying the podcast. Listening to you from early this spring, and I heard that you're sponsored by Bobcat. Just thought it was too funny because I weld Bobcat and Toolcat aluminum radiators every day at API Heater Transfer in Arcadia, New York. So I might be able to get you a radiator if you happen to put gas in one of your Bobcats. Laughing face. Yeah. Yeah. I hope I don't, Matt. But thank you. Keep up the great work on the podcast, and I can't wait to see you and Justin at the Caratogas County Fair at the beginning of August. Definitely my favorite artist in country music. Yeah, and he sent me a picture, too, of him with a stack of radiators like go on the Bobcats.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool. So good to keep in mind. Stay in touch, Matt. We appreciate your support, brother.
Hopefully we don't need you.
Yeah, but stay in touch just in case. Next one, Kaylin. Question for JM. Can you talk about I'd Want It to Be Yours? What's the story behind that? I heard you sing it at a show, and you simply said, it's ridiculous, LOL.
It is ridiculous. Yeah, that was I wrote that song on the road with Jeremy Stover, my producer, and Brandon Kinney, who's hysterical. Great songwriter, good friend of mine, but he's really good at writing kind of humorous songs. And I don't even remember how it started, but I think maybe one of us started playing that groove, and it was right when the Keeping Up with the Kardashians had kind of become a big deal, and Kim Kardashian's ass was like famous. I mean, it sounds ridiculous because it is. I mean, but and we were just like, man, if we're gonna write this like this, let's just take it all the way to the edge. I mean, we might as well make it as ridiculous as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And
If that whole culture is going to be as cartoonish as it is, we'll make this song as cartoonish as we can.
So yeah, we just kind of wrote it to be hilarious, and it kind of to me it came out pretty funny. And I will say this though, for that type of song, I think it's about as well written as it could be. I mean, it's silly, but I think it is well written for that type of song.
It's almost like the Conway songs.
It's a really fun groove, actually. It's actually a fun song to play. But yeah, that was kind of I said it was ridiculous because it is. I mean, but I'm aware of that. I'm in on the joke, I guess.
Well, but like you said, the writing on it, to your credit, y'all didn't use dirty words. You didn't have to do anything too explicit to get the point across. You used your mind to figure it out. Like I said, it reminds me of some of those Conway Twitty songs. We're not really strangers. I've already loved you in my mind. You're like, what is he saying? Or you want a man with a slow, that kind of stuff. So yeah, good.
I'll tell you how much we put into that song. The bridge is it mentions Kim Kardashian's measurements, and I Googled them to make sure that they were accurate.
See, fact checking.
You know what I mean? Like that's how 3620. It's like, oh gosh, what is it? Those watermelons you got shoved in your pants makes me want to take a bite when you dirty dance. 362439. Girl, you're behind is a little bit of J-Lo, a little bit of Kim. So I Googled her measurements to make sure they were accurate, because if somebody went and looked, I wanted it to be right.
Yep. Don't want to offend nobody. Just trying to. As long as we know what the rules are, we're playing them. Next one I got here. Somebody hit me up on the handler.com chat room there. Tristan Helms from Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, JR, just want to thank you and Justin for all you do on the podcast. After listening to the episode with Jeremy Stover, where y'all talked about producing songs that show who Justin wants to be as an artist and what he stands for, I was curious what song he thought he would say is the most telling of who he is and who he wants to be. Well, we just answered it. It's I want it to be yours.
I mean, it's hard to pick one, but I think Small Town USA probably encompasses me as a person. I mean, it's super traditional. It talks about who I am, what I'm all about. Probably more so than any. I would think. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about it when you started saying that. I don't know. Some of the new songs. I mean, even off the last record and this record and the record before that, really. So a lot of these songs are that same kind of thing. Even they weren't all singles and stuff, but like Middle Class Money and then like Consecutive Days Alive. That's My Boy, More Than Mine. I mean, all that. Those are to me this stage in your career. But Small Town USA encompasses all of that,
right?
In one, yeah. So, but yeah, shout out to you and the band on that. Y'all have been smoking those new songs, and the crowds for singing them back. Those have, not that I don't want to hear Small Town USA for the 876th time, but I definitely enjoy hearing the new jams and people singing it back, which was really cool.
We Didn't Have Much is another one that it's pretty spot on.
Yeah,
and we're sitting at number 7 today.
Nice.
We didn't have much, so
I didn't get the chart, so I would have gave a shout out on that. Yeah, absolutely. Top 10 rocking. There we go. Hopefully we'll hit it number 1 at a show that we'll have shows that week. We'll be able to celebrate it on the road, as we've talked to a bunch of people that didn't get to do that over the past year.
That would knock on wood. That would be our 10th number 1 record, which is just unreal.
Double digits, rare air. There you go.
Crazy.
Put in the work. Next one I got here is Xavier Baralaga. He knows I have a hard time with that, but he just wanted to say his Mount Rushmore for female country artists is Connie Smith, Patty Loveless, Loretta Lynn, or Jean Shepherd. Hard to choose. A lot of great ones. Kitty Wells, Patsy Cline, Lori Morgan, Pam Tillis. Keep up the great work. So agree with that. We got to see Lori Morgan work this weekend, and she is as lovely and as I mean, just sings just amazing and talented as she ever was, and just as good. I mean, we listened to some of the songs the night before on that. As we mentioned on here before, we love watching YouTube. Go watch some episodes of the George Jones Show on YouTube, and we had watched sing on there the night before, and then the next day she did those same songs, and it sounded just as good. I mean, she's total pro badass there, and she's been doing it for a minute, and it's good to see Jesse Keith, her son. But anyway, that's about all I got for today, Just. I'm gonna go out here and try to sweep some water out of my driveway and start packing for the road again. We've got to go. We've got to go out this week, like I said, to Dewey Beach. We're going over to Delaware for 2 shows, so I don't think there's many tickets left to that. If there are, y'all better scoop them up and y'all come see us.
We got and then 2 nights in a row, huh?
Yep, 2 nights in a row. Yep. I think there may be some to that second show still. I'm not sure. But then the next week we're going out to Henderson, Nevada. It's outside of Vegas. Then Park City, Utah. So y'all come see us there on the 23rd and 24th of July. On the 30th of July, we're Columbus, Ohio. And the August 1st show in Hyannis, Massachusetts is what we've got coming up over the next few weeks. So y'all get you some tickets and come see us out on the road somewhere. And I had another one I was going to get into today, but we'll save it for next time. It was we were going to do some shockers, and we'll talk about some stuff we watched on the road, because Justin and I got to, since being out on the road a little bit on some long drives, we got to see a few movies and a few TV shows and different funny stuff. So we'll talk about that. And we had some shockers there, because Justin and I both realized it's shocking. There's certain movies that he nor I have seen. Like, we were talking about something, and I said Blazing Saddles, and he was like, I hadn't seen that. Then he was trying to explain to me, which I did see the advertisement for the show, the Oregon Trail show you were talking about with the Harry Potter guy.
It looked funny, right?
Oh my God, I can't wait! You were right. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
And it's got our guy, the Ladies Man's in it.
Oh, really?
Yes, they were
I
clipped
didn't
to
even
him
know that. Tim Meadows.
Yes, they clipped to him.
Yeah, and
one
that's
time.
cool.
And that's cool. He's always good for a movie. So I look forward to seeing
that.
that.
That sounds good.
That sounds real good.
No, that's not. No, that is not good.
That's not. Yeah, he's sleeping with my wife. Oh, that's good. No, that's not good. So we both seen Ladies Man maybe one.
If y'all haven't watched it, because and JR does the best impression I've ever seen.
Cavatier Cognac, that is it.
Cavatier Cognac, yes, that is the drink.
That is the drink.
Yeah, he goes, we'll have to tell that story too.
Yeah.
JR throwing Cavatier Cognac into a fire at this place one time. And the lady going, JR goes, yeah, it's totally fine. She goes, no, it's not.
She's like, sir, what are you doing? Like, oh, it's cool, it's fine. She's like, no, it's not. Like, all right, see y'all later. Thank y'all. See y'all next time. We were walking out of this fancy steak joint somewhere. I take my last sip, my Cavassier, walking by the fire, and throw it in there, make the flame throw up like on Great Outdoors when John Candy does it.
He literally said, it's totally fine. She goes, no, sir, it is not fine.
We walked out, got all of us and left. I told her it was fine. But yes.
Yes, that is the drink.
So I thought, y'all, give us some classic movies, and we're gonna ask if JM or I, either one of us, has seen it. I have seen a lot of movies. We've talked about on the road this weekend. I have seen a bunch of movies. It's rare for JM to find
basically every movie. He tries every movie.
He tries to find a movie we can watch, and he's like, "Seen this?" And I'll give him a quick 5-minute breakdown.
Because we love
of the entire
movies.
movie.
Like, we just can, like, all day on the bus, we'll just watch movie after movie after movie.
Yeah, or driving. Yeah, just movie after movie. Just start one up, fire it off. Yeah, yeah. So, which a good one the other week we watched Harlem Nights. You hadn't seen until then.
I've been watching a bunch of Richard Pryor movies.
I mean,
he was so awesome.
I mean, it's so funny, man. Oh, yeah. and you know, so anyway, y'all send us some of those that you got to know. If you think there's something like everybody has seen this movie, you've had to have seen this movie, send us those, and we'll go down. We'll get a list going, and we'll run down them one week, and see who has and who hasn't seen these between JM and I. And we'll talk about the ones we do like. But until then, man, we appreciate y'all joining us this week and every week. Remember to use the a 5-star review button, hit that little like notification, all that fun stuff. Go to YouTube, check it out, tell your friends. Make sure you download it every week, and send us any questions you have using the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us as always. We'll see you next week, and we'll have, I believe, Jess Lockwood will be our guest next week. Professional bull rider who has won numerous championships, also sponsored by Bobcat, like ourselves. So look forward to meeting and chatting with him.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know he's a big country music nut, so we should have a lot to talk about. And we've talked about before these. We know some guys like Kojo and some other friends of ours we've known through the years that are from that world. It's like, boy, you got to be. That's about like jumping out of airplanes, man. You just got to have a different mindset to do that. So we'll see what Jess thinks it takes to make it to the high level as he has. So look forward to doing that. But until then, you've been listening to this week's episode of the Justin Moore Podcast. We couldn't thank y'all enough. We'll see y'all right back here next week. Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.
For any of you first-time listeners out there, at the end of each of our episodes, I like to do a little reading out of a book I've had that I've got a lot of use out of over the years. The book is by Mr. Charlie Daniels, and the book is called Let's All Make the Day Count, The Everyday Wisdom of Charlie Daniels. How bad do you want it? Diligent hands will rule. Proverbs 12:24. Do we get back what we put out? Absolutely. Sometimes we look at successful people and wonder, why them? Why not me? Why should they have all the luck? Actually, luck has very little to do with it. We are usually looking at the tip of a very large iceberg. The years of hard work and sacrifice are hidden below the waterline. Usually, he or she is the first one to get there and the last one to leave. They have the let me do it, go the extra mile, burn the midnight oil, and never give up attitude applied to endless hours of extra effort that separates the successful from the rest. The athletes we admire have spent their lives in arduous physical training. The musicians we love to hear have spent countless hours playing scales and practicing on their instruments. Eugene Fodor, one of the world's finest classical violinists, told me that when he was playing concerts, he practiced 6 hours a day. Stevie Ray Vaughan played his guitar until his fingertips began to shred, applied some liquid skin, and continued to practice until he was the premier blues guitarist of his generation. Everything comes with a price. There's an old saying, if you want to run with the big dogs, you've got to get off the porch. Success is shaped like a pyramid with a lot of room at the bottom, but the closer to the top you get, the smaller it gets. Let's all make the day count.